1,000 years of history and tradition unroll in London town on Coronation Day, a glittering spectacle witnessed by millions undaunted by rain. In the procession, Britain's Prime Minister, Sir Winston Churchill, who has served 5 monarchs, and Commonwealth leaders, including Prime Minister Saint Laurent of Canada. All the Queen's horses and lines of her men, resplendent in their trappings of royal service, forming a guard of honor now for Queen Mother Elizabeth and Princess Margaret. Through the gates of Buckingham Palace rolls the ornate golden coach of state, carrying a beautiful and radiant girl of 27 years to her coronation. Beside her in the gilt coach is her sailor husband, Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. A roar goes up from the throngs along the Mall, decorated with ornate arches. Britain's 6th reigning queen, the 2nd Elizabeth, rides to assume her destiny in the pages of history. Cheers go out, too, for the handsome man in his admiral's uniform who shares in that destiny. For school children watching from a specially reserved street corner, history is alive and fresh as a fairy tale come true. A Prince Charming and his lovely queen, lifting the hopes and the hearts of free men in this troubled world. Big Ben, atop Parliament, looks down on the royal procession as it reaches Westminster Abbey. And the coronation stage is set for Act 2 of this most lavish, costly production of the century. History is at her elbow as Elizabeth II enters the Abbey.
Inside the ancient edifice, before peers of the realm and 7,500 selected guests, begins the solemn ceremony of consecration and dedication, changed but little over the years. The Archbishop of Canterbury administers the oath.
Madam, is your Majesty willing to take the oath?
I am willing.
Possessions and the
A solemn oath to serve the law and uphold the faith.
pertaining according to their respective laws and customs.
I solemnly promise so to do.
The Dukes of Edinburgh, Gloucester, and Kent are intent as Part 2 of the ritual begins, the anointing. The Queen is divested of her crimson coronation robes and dons a simple white garment for the sacred act of benediction. For this, she takes her seat in King Edward's chair, and under a canopy of silk and gold, is anointed with holy oil. Prince Charles finds grandmother a patient teacher as he tries to absorb the meaning and significance of what he sees and hears. For here, knighthood reaches its full flower in the 20th century, in these relics of Britain's earlier days of heraldry and chivalry, stemming from William the Conqueror. A large order for 4-year-old eyes and ears, but someday, this pageantry may mark his own coronation. He may hold the scepter of power and the rod of mercy as the climactic moment approaches. The moment of the Queen's crowning has come. Holding high St. Edward's crown, the Archbishop lowers the 5-pound symbol of might and power, and as he places it upon the Queen's head and removes his hands, the assemblage in one voice cries, "God save the Queen." Then, before the wondering eyes of her son and heir, rising from King Edward's chair, she is escorted by bishops and temporal lords to be set upon her throne. Thus, elevated by the combined power of church and state, she receives the fealty of the archbishop and bishops, and then the homage of the peers. First of the peers to take his vows to his queen is her husband and subject, Philip, Duke of Edinburgh.
Faith and truth I will bear, live and die, against all manner of folk, so help me God.
Thus, in solemn splendor, Elizabeth is wedded to her empire. Thus she ascends to a throne that links 600 million subjects in all corners of the globe. Thus is perpetuated in the person of a young queen, a monarchy reaching back through the centuries to foundations begun shortly after Roman legions left England. So the Queen returns to the west door of the 900-year-old Abbey Church of St. Peter, Westminster, and the 2.5-hour ritual of ancient splendor is ended.
A surge of emotion built up over the long hours overflows now as the triumphant procession heads back to Buckingham Palace. The long ordeal is over now. The solemnity of crowning is behind her, and a radiant queen rides through lines of her cheering subjects. Joy and jubilation flow unrestrained in London. The Queen is crowned, symbol